Chef Whiskers was no ordinary cat. He loved eating fish, yes, but more than that, he loved the smell of food cooking. He would sit on the kitchen counter. He would watch his human Maggie cook. He dreamt of making delicious dishes. One day, Maggie was making pasta. The aroma filled the air. Whiskers, unable to resist, jumped onto a stool. He tried to reach the counter. "Whoa, Whiskers!" Maggie chuckled, gently lifting him. "You seem very interested in cooking today." Little did she know this was the start of something special. Whiskers, fueled by passion, decided to try cooking himself. He snuck into the kitchen when Maggie was asleep. He climbed onto the counter. He looked at all the ingredients. He decided to make a fish soup, his favorite. He pulled down a fish with his paw. He pushed a bowl of milk with his nose. He mixed it all up. The result? A chaotic kitchen and a very confused Maggie the next morning. "Whiskers!" she exclaimed, looking at the mess. But seeing her furry friend's enthusiasm, she couldn't help but smile. "Maybe I can teach you a thing or two about cooking." Maggie started with the basics. She knew that understanding spices was essential for any aspiring chef, even if that chef happened to be a cat. So she laid out an array of spices on the kitchen counter, each one carefully selected for its unique flavor and aroma. Whiskers, her curious feline companion, watched intently, his nose twitching with anticipation. She showed Whiskers how to smell different spices. It was important for him to recognize each one by its scent. Maggie held up a jar of cinnamon, letting Whiskers take a good sniff. His whiskers twitched as he took in the warm, sweet aroma. There was cinnamon with its warm scent. Maggie explained that cinnamon was often used in both sweet and savory dishes, adding a depth of flavor that was unmistakable. There was cumin with its earthy aroma. She told Whiskers that cumin was a staple in many cuisines around the world, known for its ability to enhance the taste of meats and vegetables. There was ginger with its sharp kick. Maggie mentioned that ginger was not only a flavor booster, but also had health benefits, making it a versatile spice in the kitchen. Whiskers loved sniffing the colorful powders. Each one was a new adventure for his senses. Maggie could see the excitement in his eyes as he explored the different scents. He learned to differentiate them by smell. Maggie was impressed by how quickly Whiskers picked up on the subtle differences between each spice. It was clear that he had a keen sense of smell. He even tried tasting some. Maggie laughed as Whiskers bravely licked a bit of turmeric, his face scrunching up at the unfamiliar taste. It was all part of the learning process. He squinted his eyes at the spicy chili powder. Maggie warned him that some spices were best enjoyed in moderation, especially the hot ones like chili powder. He licked his lips at the sweet paprika. This one was more to his liking, with its mild and slightly sweet flavor. Maggie explained that paprika was often used to add color and a hint of sweetness to dishes. Maggie showed him how to use each spice. She demonstrated how a pinch of this, or a dash of that, could transform a simple dish into something extraordinary. She explained how each one brought out different flavors in food. Maggie emphasized the importance of balance and how the right combination of spices could elevate the taste of any meal. Whiskers, being a fast learner, picked it up quickly. He watched Maggie closely, absorbing every detail of her spice mastery. It was clear that he was eager to learn and apply his newfound knowledge. He was now ready for the next step. With a newfound appreciation for spices, Whiskers was prepared to take his culinary skills to the next level. Maggie knew that with practice he would become a true master of the spices. Maggie taught Whiskers how to use his paws. It all started one sunny afternoon when Maggie noticed Whiskers watching her intently as she baked. His eyes followed her every move, and she could see the curiosity sparkling in them. She decided to give him a chance to join in the fun. She showed him how to gently knead dough. At first, Whiskers was hesitant, his little paws unsure of the soft, pliable texture. But with Maggie's patient guidance, he soon got the hang of it. His paws moved rhythmically, pressing and folding the dough with surprising finesse. She showed him how to carefully stir sauces. Maggie would hold his paw and guide it through the motions, ensuring he understood the delicate balance required to mix the ingredients just right. Whiskers watched closely, his whiskers twitching with concentration. He wasn't allowed to use knives, of course. That was Maggie's job. She would chop the vegetables while Whiskers observed, his eyes wide with fascination. He learned to respect the sharp tools and understood that some tasks were best left to his human friend. Whiskers discovered he had a natural talent. As days turned into weeks, his confidence grew. He began to anticipate Maggie's instructions, often moving ahead of her guidance. His enthusiasm was infectious, and Maggie couldn't help but smile at his progress. He could knead dough to the perfect consistency. His paws worked with precision, and the dough responded to his touch, becoming smooth and elastic. Maggie was impressed by how quickly he mastered this skill, something that took her years to perfect. He could tell when a sauce was perfectly blended. Whiskers would sniff the air, his nose twitching as he detected the subtle changes in aroma. He'd give a satisfied nod, and Maggie knew it was time to taste. Together they would sample the sauce, savouring the flavours they had created. He even developed his signature move, a gentle tap of his paw to check if the food was cooked just right. This little gesture became his trademark, a final seal of approval that Maggie came to rely on. It was as if Whiskers had an innate sense of culinary perfection. Maggie was amazed by his progress. She never imagined that her furry friend would become such an integral part of her cooking routine. Their bond grew stronger with each dish they prepared, and the kitchen became a place of joy and creativity. "You're a natural, Whiskers," she exclaimed one day. Her voice was filled with pride and affection. Whiskers looked up at her, his eyes shining with happiness. He knew he had found his calling, and Maggie's words were the sweetest reward. Whiskers purred with pride, his tail swishing happily. The kitchen was his domain, a place where he could express himself and share his love for cooking with Maggie. Every purr, every swish of his tail was a testament to his joy and satisfaction. He was well on his way to becoming a chef. With each passing day, Whiskers' skills grew sharper, and his confidence soared. Maggie knew that together they could create culinary masterpieces, and Whiskers was ready to take on any challenge that came their way. Section 5. A menu for success. One day Maggie announced, "We're having friends over, Whiskers. Time to show off your skills." Together they created a special menu. There was creamy fish soup with a sprinkle of parsley. There was catnip-crusted tuna with a side of steamed vegetables. For dessert, Whiskers insisted on a special treat, Meowchi ice cream, a recipe he invented himself with a secret ingredient, catnip, of course. The night arrived, and Maggie's friends were impressed. "This is amazing!" one exclaimed between bites. "These flavours are incredible," another chimed in. Section 6. From mishaps to masterpieces. The journey wasn't always smooth. There were times when Whiskers accidentally added too much salt. Sometimes he got distracted by a fly and let the sauce simmer for too long. But with each mishap, he learned something new. He discovered that a pinch of sugar can balance out saltiness. He realized that a lower flame is better for simmering sauces. With Maggie's guidance and his own experiences, Whiskers continued to refine his skills. He learned that cooking wasn't just about following recipes. It was about passion, creativity, and a love for experimenting with flavors. Section 7. A chef's heart. As Whiskers became a more skilled chef, he discovered something wonderful. Cooking wasn't just about the food. It was about sharing his creations with others. It was about seeing their happy faces as they enjoyed his dishes. He loved seeing Maggie's friends purr with delight. He loved watching their tails twitch with every bite. It warmed his heart to know that his food brought joy to others. Whiskers realized that being a chef was about more than just cooking. It was about bringing people together and creating moments of happiness through food. Section 8. The Perfect Recognition. Word of Chef Whiskers' culinary talents spread throughout the neighborhood and beyond. Soon everyone was talking about the amazing cat chef. People came from far and wide to taste his creations. Food critics praised his innovative dishes. Newspapers featured him in their articles. He even appeared on a TV show, charming the host with his culinary skills. Whiskers took all the attention in stride. He remained humble and passionate about his craft. He knew that the true reward was the joy his food brought to others. Section 9. A culinary legend. Chef Whiskers, the once ordinary cat who loved the smell of cooking, had become a culinary legend. His story inspired many. Born in a small alley, Chef Whiskers was just another stray cat, scavenging for food and shelter. But he had a unique gift, an extraordinary sense of smell and an insatiable curiosity for the culinary arts. He would often sneak into local kitchens, mesmerized by the aromas and the bustling activity. He showed the world that anyone, even a cat, could achieve their dreams with passion and determination. With time, the chefs began to notice his presence and his keen interest in their craft. They started to teach him the basics, and soon, Chef Whiskers was not just an observer, but an active participant in the kitchen. His small paws moved with surprising dexterity, and his dishes began to gain attention. And so, Chef Whiskers continued to cook, his heart filled with joy. His recipes were a blend of traditional techniques and his own unique flair. He experimented with flavors, always striving to create something new and exciting. His joy was infectious, and soon people from all over came to taste his creations. He knew that as long as he had his paws in the dough and a sprinkle of catnip in his heart, he could create magic in the kitchen. His signature dishes became legendary, and his little restaurant turned into a culinary hotspot. But for Chef Whiskers, it was never about the fame. It was about the love of cooking and the joy it brought to others. His story became a reminder that the best things in life are meant to be shared, especially a delicious meal prepared with love. Chef Whiskers' journey from a stray cat to a culinary icon is a testament to the power of passion and perseverance. His legacy lives on, inspiring future generations to follow their dreams, no matter how improbable they may seem. And so the legend of Chef Whiskers continues to grow, one delicious meal at a time.